A contemporary roots singer-songwriter from northeastern Ontario, Mimi Obansewin embraces the beauty of the land through her rhythm and story-driven songs, all the while yielding to her Franco-Ontarian and Abenaki roots. The ethereal quality of her music whisks you away with uplifting melodies and introspective lyrics that weave pop sensibilities with acoustic instruments. The layers of percussion and surprising harmonies make you feel the music rather than just hear it. Her new album, Willow, was produced and recorded in her log home studio, and I'm happy to say that Mimi is on the line now. Hi, Mimi.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm great. How are you doing? Thanks for tuning in and joining us today.
Oh, this is so great. I'm so happy. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, so pumped. You know, your album Willow is debuting on the CKUA Top 30 chart this week. And, as I've been listening to it, this week, I feel like there is a touch of magic in it.
Aw.
And I'm curious, like, where do you gather your magic from, or how do you infuse, that sort of special something in the music that you create?
That's great. I don't think anybody's ever asked me, where does the magic come from? That is so cool. Um, I'm really excited, and I'm really happy it resonated with you in that way because for this album, I really wanted to bring people into my universe. So a
Mm.
couple years ago, when I was becoming an adult and learning about who I am and that coming of age, and I wanted to be a person who weaved my culture and the things that I'm passionate about, which is like music and land, all these things that make me who I am. I
Mm.
wanted to weave those into my life and live with it without having to think about it, kind of like a seamless integration into my life. And I think because I've been able to work so hard and to achieve those goals,
Mhm.
I'm really proud that I get to live that way, and I wanted to tell my story and bring the listener into my universe in a really authentic and just natural way. So it's very much a sneak peek into my life, I think.
Oh, well, let me tell you, if listening to your album is a sneak peek into your life, I'm like, can I have your life? Can I?
You can come visit anytime.
Okay, sounds great. Yeah, it sounds just like a lovely, delicious place to be. Now, in creating this album, I know the pandemic was fruitful for a lot of artists. Now, is would you consider this album something that was sort of like brewing during the pandemic, or did it happen way before that?
Yeah, I think I'm very much a collector in my life, and if when you come visit
Mm.
my house, you will see there's a lot of things in here, but that means I also collect stories. And so a lot of these songs I've had in my heart for a long time, and
Mm.
which means I got to workshop the compositions of them live on stage in front of an audience and bring that in. To be able to workshop that in front of people, I think lended itself really well to creating this record. So not so much a pandemic project, but I think being able to have our studio and to gather the skills and the time to, build our studio and figure out how we want to record it, that was maybe more of a pandemic project rather than the songs.
Wow. So, in workshopping your repertoire through performance, what changed for you, or what was solidified in that process?
It's interesting because sometimes when you write a song, like for me, my songs come, just me by myself, either with my guitar or my drum. And then you imagine these compositions. So, oh, this could happen here. And I think you need to workshop that in front of other people
Hmm.
because to see what works and what doesn't work. And what's interesting is the song Willow on my album, which is kind of the seed that started this album, was a song that I played for a long time and I really struggled to let go of it. And so to be able to present it to people and hear feedback and hear how it resonates or if it doesn't, I really love that. And I
Mm.
think, yeah, I think it brings the community into the music.
Yeah, yeah, that's very cool. As an audience member, it's really kind of special when I've seen an artist like, oh yeah, this is my new song, and just kind of like working it out and trying it on.
Mm.
And then to hear that progression, then you hear it on the album, you're like, oh my gosh, I remember I was at that show when they had just written it. You feel like you're watching this like you're like a proud auntie, like watching
Aw.
this beautiful baby grow up. So yeah, I appreciate that. And as a performer, it is nice. There's so much information that you get and feeling that you get from like trying it on in front of people. You're like, oh yeah, that
Mhm.
works good. Or, if you're playing with a band and then someone does something live, you're like, oh my God, that's perfect. Let's stick it in.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's really exciting. I really love your process.
And I mean, on the other side of that, there's also things that don't work sometimes.
Yes.
And that's also because we recorded it in our home. I was able to try a lot of things and
Mm,
what lends itself to the song, you know? And to your other point, music doesn't exist without audiences. And I always
mm,
remember that. There's no way I could do, what I always dreamt of doing,
yeah.
which is playing music without other people, without community, without audiences. So I'm very grateful for that.
I love that. Wow, I could just talk to you all day. I'm really inspired by your
Aw.
process and all the cool things that you create. Thank you so much for chatting with me today. I want to play Willow, the title track from
Woohoo.
Mimi Obansewin's album Willow, which is debuting on the CKUA Top 30 chart this week. Thank you so much, Mimi. Have a beautiful day.
Thank you. You too.